Well, jeepers! You're listening to Smash or Pass with JayBee, Millie, and Smash!
And of course, Rihanna!
Hi!
So, in today's episode, we are taking a look at Happy Halloween Scooby Doo. And so, I guess, kind of following on from the theme of the last two, this is supposed to be kind of part of that trilogy. It does kind of encompass a bit of a finale to them, I guess. So, that's to add some perspective. So, I guess before we take a look at the plot, I know this was a first watch through for me. I think JayBee, you'd seen this one once before.
Yeah, a while ago, but yeah. So it's this second viewing for me.
Yeah. Rihanna, is this one you'd seen?
I saw bits and pieces of it on Halloween. That's just been actually. It was shown on Sky Family on Halloween Day. I saw the first 20 minutes, and then stuff happened. But this was today was my first full watch through of it.
And Smash, I'm guessing this is one you might have seen a few times.
Yeah, I remember because it was kind of like this movie was revealed to be like, oh, this is a trilogy type thing. So I was very mixed with this movie going into it. I was like, oh, there's too many guest stars in this just from the trailer. But at the same time, I was like, but I want to see what they're doing with this trilogy. And so I remember I went and picked it up, and I had my nieces and nephews over, and I was like, okay, nobody bother me for an hour and a half. I'm closing my door, locking it. I have a Scooby movie to watch. So, but I've watched it a handful of times.
Okay, so for those of you who haven't seen this before or haven't seen it for a while, briefly kind of trying to summarize the movie here. There's a festival taking place, and at that festival an unmasking happens. So that's the kind of start. It's almost like another mystery perhaps was wrapped up there, but as things continue, it keeps calling back to that original unmasking. So the first kind of signs of the next kind of mystery I want to say is when a pumpkin patch comes to life, and the gang are kind of almost chased out of Crystal Cove by these pumpkin kind of monsters, really, in vehicles. Now, I'd say this was unlike a lot of Scooby movies. It's kind of something new in that a lot of the mystery happens on the road, along the journey. They're trying to figure things out until they try to kind of come to this ultimate showdown where Fred sets some traps, and as always, they try and get their unmasking. So I feel like that is a very brief summary, and I can't think of anything else to add to it.
No, that's quite good. I like that.
Okay, so we're going back to the very, very start of the movie, and my first impressions of this was I like the song. That was the first thing I thought. As soon as the movie started, I was like, okay, good music, tick.
Yeah, I mean, I liked the direction overall because it was it reminded me a little bit of the Guardians of the Galaxy, where there's kind of a half serious kind of scene going on in the opening credits, but it's also encompassed within a chase song. So I did appreciate that a lot, and that they're not gonna get badly hurt anyway, so it was okay to make it a bit more lighthearted with the song. And yeah, it's one of my not one of my favorite intros, but definitely one of my more memorable ones.
Yeah. I guess also kind of touching on something Smash mentioned, first impressions from the title and stuff. For all this is a trilogy, I am happy that this didn't come across as another callback movie.
Yeah.
There wasn't another name in the title. So we've had the 13 Ghosts, we had Zombie Island. You'd think if it was a trilogy, it could be another callback, and I was just so happy with the title that it wasn't that. So
there was a lot of nostalgia here, I feel though, I think there's a red herring cameo, they're in Crystal Cove, obviously, but yeah, you're right, it's not they tried to make the new Scooby Doo movies this time even more new. It wasn't that type of kind of extra reboot, which was nice.
So I guess I'm just gonna skip over the intro, skip through the intro and then get everyone else's opinion on it, if that's okay. So obviously we've mentioned it starts with a bit of a song. They're at a festival. No questions asked. The mystery machine has returned. So I guess that's not carried on, but we did talk about that kind of last week, that we wouldn't see that progression. We see the return of Elvira, who we saw last week as well in Return to Zombie Island. Except again, kind of a bit of an issue quite early on with this movie is I feel like from what we saw with Shaggy and Scooby last week when they were so excited to see Elvira, that they'd have maybe been a bit more excited in this one. Because I feel like in the last one, they just saw her on TV. They never got to actually meet her. So I'm kind of surprised we don't get that excitement from them about them being there. Again, kind of, I'm just going to cover like the intro bit and then get everyone else's perspectives if that's okay. Velma, there's kind of talking about a mystery, and Velma says, we've got a perfect track record of proving monsters aren't real. And it's a bit like, not too sure you do. And then we see the spooky monster. So I guess I've kind of skipped over a lot there. So yeah, up until the perfect track record, and in the last movie she was like, oh, the reluctant werewolf, and it's like, what did you get from that? So JayBee, what did you think of the titles, the intro up to that point?
It wasn't, but I didn't think about the Elvira thing, to be honest. I kind of disconnected that from my mind a little bit, but I think overall it was just fun to see them in this type of setting again, because it's quite, I mean, it's classic, but it's not. They're like at some type of festival or some parade, so it's reminding me, not in the best of ways, but it's reminding me of Monster of Mexico when they're going somewhere for a festival, or even Loch Ness Monster, where it's like this own kind of little celebration. So I thought it was a good, vibrant way to open it, and I wasn't really thinking about much else apart from, yay, it's a cool song, and I guess stuff's happening.
Yeah. And Rihanna, you said that today was your first watch through of this. What did you think to the intro?
Okay, so I feel like there was a lot happening, and it was a lot to take in. I don't know if it was just for me, but there was like, so I was definitely like, well, you don't have a perfect track record, Velma.
Yeah.
And I think that was like something we all picked up, because it's like, we all know their track record, and we know what's happened in the past two movies. Like, I mean, I don't know what's happened in the past. Like, I know what happened in the first one. Still not Want to Zombie Home, but and I love the song. I mean, I was showing you guys earlier my groovy dance moves. I was just jamming out to it. But like with the intro, quick question: are we including like the whole Mystery Machine swirling, eating candy scene?
I think that's in the like when they do the titles, right? So we'll do the titles after we've done the intro. For me, I think the intro kind of went up to Velma's like, oh, we've got a perfect track record. Then we see a monster, which I personally think is quite a spooky one, where that kind of pumpkin comes floating out of the building, and I was like, I like that. If that's going to be the villain, I'm happy, fine. And then Daphne kind of ends the intro by going, are you cereal? Which was a bit strange. I feel like that was the first warning that she was going to be a bit different in this movie.
When she said like the cereal thing, I of course, so I am a DC fan, so I know like Scarecrow and things, so I recognize some like the costumes and things like that was happening in like the intro. And but when Daphne said, are you cereal? I just turned to my brother and I was like, what did she just say? Like, what? And then my mom was like, oh, well, maybe she meant she mixed like for real and serious together. But I've never heard someone say, are you cereal before?
JayBee, you've said it before, haven't you?
Yeah, it's like one of those colloquial things. Like, I can't think of any other way, but it's like that, like almost like saying a coincidence is a coinky dink. It's just kind of a quirk. I understand what it was getting at, but I didn't really.
See, I've never heard anyone other than JayBee said it, so I always just like assumed that it was one of JayBee's quirks, of which there are a few. So I was just like, it's just JayBee, it's fine. And then Daphne did it as well. I'm like,
JayBee and Daphne are on the same wavelength.
So we're in sync. We're connected, Millie. You don't understand. You're not part of
it. I will say, so when the villain, well, the pumpkin scarecrow guy comes out, you know how I showed you guys the little hologram Weetos like frame that I have?
Yeah.
Where it's like, he reminded me a lot of like the pumpkin villain in that. So I don't know if like that was a slight callback to the live action. I don't know. But that was just something that I picked up on because it was like beside me, and I was like, "Oh, hey, if he was in real life, this is probably what he looked like."
Fair.
I like that.
Me too. So, Smash, the intro, what did you think?
I feel like this intro kind of like introduced all these characters almost like all over again in a way, because it was like, here's the personalities of these characters in this movie now. I mean, as we talked about with Daphne and stuff, which I will say I have heard the term. I have heard people say, "Are you cereal?" So I wasn't shocked by what she said. I was more so like, "Oh, okay, so we're doing Be Cool Daphne. I see." That was my instant kind of reaction, is we're doing a Be Cool-esque Daphne in this movie. And then, I mean, we'll get more into like Velma's thing, but I actually really enjoyed Velma's arc in here, which then semi gets thrown out the window the next movie, but that's beside the point right now.
Oh god.
I will say I was a little like, I don't want to say bugged, but just like threw me off a bit having Fred in that skeleton outfit like the whole movie. I was like, I get it, it's Halloween and stuff, but like, Freddy don't look right. Okay, and this is like way ahead of the movie, but like when he ripped his costume, I was like, there we go, I'd rather have you shirtless than in that. But I don't know, I think just overall for the beginning, it kind of felt like they were reintroducing the characters for this movie specifically.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like you say, it's a very different vibe. You got Be Cool vibes. I kind of said that I got Mr. Incorporated and Be Cool vibes, because I feel like you're saying with Daphne, she's certainly a lot more quirky in this one, which is how to describe her in Be Cool. But also Mr. Incorporated vibes in that there's a few like, I don't know, like I might be reading into this, but I feel like there's a few looks between like Velma and Shaggy, and then some almost romantic-esque moments with Shaggy and Scooby where they were like looking into each other's eyes, they were holding hands, and then there's a reference like Fred's like, oh, I left my love down the like road, I need to go back and get them, and Velma's like, no, it's fine, Daphne's here, and he's like, oh no,
Yeah.
Micucci. But like, I don't know, I just feel like there was maybe more hints towards a like Velma and Shaggy connection that we see in Mystery Incorporated.
I mean, I think Smash said last time that maybe this was created with a more, like, with the mindset and like the mythology that every single bit of Scooby media is somewhere along the same timeline, and so probably somewhere in this movie's timeline, Shaggy and Velma did date, that type of thing.
Yeah.
I feel like this movie is set at least a year after Curse of the 13th Ghost, purely because in that they said you're almost 18, and in this one they said you're now young adults. So that means they're 18, 19, possibly 20. So like, I'd say give it about a 3-year time span since like the first of this like trilogy.
That's confusing then, because if you think about it, it's actually a quinky dink. But both iterations now of Zombie Island have followed up, and both of their follow-ups have been involving, at some point, monster pumpkins. That's kind of interesting.
Oh, mentioning that. So, I of course watched it on the DVD. You know how it's got the 3 bonus episodes?
Yeah.
All throughout the movie, there was at least one reference to those individual episodes. I'm not sure if you picked up on that at all.
See, we didn't watch all of them. We watched the Be Cool episode and the What's New Scooby Doo episode, but I'm not sure if I picked up on many references.
There was a strong reference. I mean, later on there's the whole red herring thing, but there was like with Velma when he said, oh, well, I mean, this is a bit like after the title, but she says about, oh, well, we've been friends since we got a pup named Scooby Doo. And I feel like there was a lot of references to those 3 episodes. And I mean, even how the pumpkin looked. You know how the pumpkin scarecrow looked in the What's New Scooby Doo episode?
Yeah.
It reminded me like when I first saw it, I said to my brother, I was like, "Oh, so what's new? Are we going to get like scarecrows walking around like that little song at the end?" Which I kind of really hope that we did.
True.
It's a good song.
Okay.
Well, actually, speaking of the bonuses, I saw this on TikTok, and I didn't believe it for the longest time. But there's some type of like adult joke in the What's New Scooby Doo episode that was included with this, where like I think it's Velma's cousin, and she's constantly flirting with Fred throughout the episode.
Yeah.
And then like they ask how old she's gonna be because her birthday is obviously on the same day as I was like Halloween. I was like, I'm 18, so that means that I can. It's like so I can.
I'm legally able to vote.
Yeah, that clause. I'm legally able to vote, and it's like. Yeah, I didn't understand that. I saw it on TikTok and I could have sworn it was edited for views, but it wasn't. It's legit. They just added that in there, and it shocks me.
Okay, so heading to the titles next. Again, I feel like another really good song here. Like, I feel like this movie got off to a really good start with songs. I don't know how I want to describe the titles. I feel like JayBee's going to do it justice because...
Wait, didn't we talk about the titles?
No.
Weren't the titles just the...
The titles is them in the Mystery Machine.
Oh, I thought
so you've got Shaggy and Scooby in the Mystery Machine. And then the gang are kind of fighting the monster outside the Mystery Machine. And I feel like it does a few quite good visuals where like the monster like comes through the windshields and then like back out again. I don't know.
Well, there's something about the intro and it stays consistent throughout the whole movie. I don't know if anyone else has like thought this, but I think that this is one of my favoritely, if that's a word, animated Scooby movies in terms of like how it looks, because I think it all just looks so good. I wanted to jump into the TV and just live in the world just because everything seems so smooth, and I just love how it was animated.
It was animated really nicely. Did anyone have anything they wanted to add about the titles?
It was like, I really enjoyed the titles. I feel like there was a lot going on. I don't quite understand what the writers and animators were on at that moment in time when everything was happening. I think sugar rush possibly. One thing that eating candy, they removed the wrappers, so I'm like, what's happening? Why? That was like, so they didn't take the candy wrappers off, which they do in like any other episode or movie. They always remove it and you see like the chocolate all around their mouth. Instead they're just like, hey, this wax paper is going in your mouth and you're going to eat it and get on with life. So I just don't know what they were thinking when they were doing it, but it was so good. And it was, there was something about it that just felt really special, and I loved how they incorporated, and I mean they do this all the time, with the intros, showing us the characters with the voice actor's name underneath. How they did it with like the Mystery Machine turning around, all of that. It was so masterfully done. And it makes me kind of think of when people do the same kind of video where it's all in one shot and like they move the camera around and they don't cut or anything. It reminded me, like, if it was in real life, I feel like that would kind of be what we'd be seeing. They try and get it all done without like in one clean shot. But one thing that I want to mention about the intro, when Daphne and Velma are like picking up was it just after the title? I can't remember. Like where they're picking up like the crossbow, is that what it's called? Like the weapons. I was like, they remembered their training from Sam and Dean Winchester from Scooby Natural. Like they were ready to take down any kind of poltergeist. They're ready.
Yeah, that was a bit mad because you often don't get like weapons and stuff in Scooby. So that was like, okay,
Real.
We're seeing that today. All right. So they get their unmasking in this, and can anyone remember the name of the person that it is? Because
It's Jonathan Crane, who is the Scarecrow in Batman.
Okay, thank you. Because I'll admit, I didn't really take away any characters' names from this movie. And I feel like this bit, I was a bit like, oh, this doesn't follow with the timeline because the sheriff didn't like them. And in this, they're like, oh, well done. But obviously that gets kind of discussed later on, but initially I was like, they got it wrong.
No, well, they didn't, did they? Because it wasn't Ian nicer after Zombie Island because they were crying.
Yeah, but then they were a bit like, oh, it doesn't matter.
What do you mean?
Like, at the end, like, they were crying, but then he was like, oh, okay, and then they, like, pretty much, like, laughed at him, and they're like, oh, yeah, we're fine now.
I think you've made mistakes there, Miller.
I just didn't feel like it fit. Anyway. So yeah, the person's unmasked, and Daphne's kind of teasing them, just like, come on, say it, and, like, waving her phone in his face, like, come on, say meddling kids.
That was very be cool, like, I feel.
Yeah, at this point, Daphne was nice. It was okay.
Daphne's always
fun.
nice. I'm not having this slander.
You're
You
biased, JayBee.
I'm not. I'm impartial.
You're not.
Are you sure? If you're on a jury, okay, little side thing. If you're on a jury and Daphne committed like a really horrible crime, and there's a lot of evidence against her to show that she did it, would you say that she was guilty or not guilty?
I'm gonna say that JayBee can't say what's entering his head.
What? What?
Go on, answer the question.
Oh, I'd say that as a ex-law student, it's innocent until proven guilty. So there might be some evidence one way, but unless there's like concrete, watertight, here it is, she's done it, then I think I'll have to say innocent.
What if there was a video proving it?
It could be.
He'd delete the footage.
No, it could be.
If he was a judge, he would say it was
Photoshop.
inadmissible.
It could be what are those things? A deep fake. It could be a deep fake.
I just hope JayBee would do this like for us if any of us were like to ever get in trouble.
He would do it for me, I can
Support
promise you.
No. Well, I'd do it for everyone here, obviously, because I think everyone here is amazing people.
Even more so than Daphne.
Come on, JayBee.
I'd say it's a realistic possibility.
Oh, it's a possibility.
Whoa.
It's realistic. I would say so.
She doesn't spend 8 hours a week recording with you like we do.
That's true. That's true.
Come on, everyone, we're quitting.
Oh, we could go our separate ways and then reunite a couple of years later on Spooky Island.
God. Okay, let's move on. So yeah, Daphne's teasing them. We find out that this is again set in Crystal Cove. Then there's this like fun scene with Shaggy and Scooby firing candy through Scooby's like literally like almost vomiting candy at the drones, which is a bit different. It's a bit unique. It's fun. Like I feel like smASH said it about the last movie. I'm gonna say it about this one. It's just fun.
But they've done this before, haven't they? You know, in like the Monster of Mexico, where Scooby eats the watermelon and then like spits the pips out at the monster.
Yeah.
So kind of they've been used in this way before.
Okay, so we reached this bit where Daphne's becoming really annoying because I think it's Velma's trying to speak, and she's going word. Basic, like over Velma's shoulder, and normally it's Velma that I'm like,
no, but Velma's not earned the respect at this point. I still hate her from the last two movies. So
she didn't do anything wrong in the last movie.
She existed. That's a bit wrong.
No,
Oh my
like she was going through some serious mental strain in the last movie. You can't hold that against her. But honestly, Daphne has just been so annoying. Like, I want her to be removed. Like, I wish at that point she'd got in the car and been driven off away from that scene, because she was like Velma was like, okay, so this word, and then this basic, and it's like, for goodness sake, just shut up. You're so annoying.
Totally.
Like, I'll say it now. This is the worst adaptation we've ever seen of Daphne. It's awful.
Even worse than the puppets.
Yes.
Okay.
She's just, I hate her.
I respect that.
You know how I felt about Velma in the 13 Ghosts one?
Yeah.
I'm getting close to hating her that much in this. It just gets far too annoying.
Wait. I understand that, but from like a 2-minute exchange, I think you get too overexcited, Millie. I think that's the problem.
Yeah, but I get annoyed very quickly. If something annoys me, then it annoys me.
smASH. I feel like we could potentially be witnessing the breakup of JayBee and Millie over Daphne.
You can both be witnesses to the divorce.
Yeah, but who gets
Oh
what?
no!
We can't. Don't do this to us.
Oh, wait, no, you can't say divorce on a podcast. Because it's an escape from reality.
No, No, it's not. I have to deal with you simping over Daphne this hard in real life too.
It's not true. It's just a shtick. It's for the camera. It's not real.
Say that to the poster
It's my shtick.
and the life-size Daphne cardboard cutout.
No, come on, because you got that. You got that. That wasn't me. You no,
Yeah, but it's
no,
for
no,
you.
no. Tell the people. Tell everyone. Tell everyone the truth. Tell everyone the truth. So say this is a law
New
court. You've got your
Halloween
hand
would be
on
the end of it.
something. Say it.
Okay, so I guess if we like gauge people's opinions on Daphne in this movie, did you notice a difference, JayBee?
Well, again, the animation is something that I'll say. I think they've animated her very well.
Personality?
They've definitely added a bit more quirks to her, and I will actually stand by this. I think the opening scene with her acting like that is as bad as she gets in the movie, because there's no reason for her to interject and stuff. For all it's Velma, so I'm kind of like, yeah, I mean, she could probably do with a bit of like breaks in between hearing her, but yeah, it wasn't necessary. But as for the rest of the quirkiness, it gets weirder, but I don't think it gets more annoying. So.
I think just to add context for Rihanna, like, I do think we need to be more sympathetic towards Velma in this one because the last movie was rough for her. She wasn't alright, so I feel like you've been far too harsh. What did you have an opinion on Daphne for this one, smASH?
Of Daphne, I guess just like from watching, you know, these in order from Curse of the 13th Ghost to this film, I think she was the most that I was taken back by, because I was just like, whoa, you know, like we went from I'm Daphne, I know what I'm doing, I can lead, I can blah blah blah, to oh yeah, I'm kind of, you know, I'm here, I'm gonna take care of the group, I'm going to take part, to la 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 la, hey, can I have your wig? Like,
Yeah, it's insane. Like, for me, the first movie in this trilogy is the best we've ever seen Daphne, and then this last movie is the worst. But then I'd say that the last, so Return to Zombie Island is the least I've ever hated Velma, but the first movie in the trilogy is the most I've ever hated her. Like, I feel like there's just such a spectrum here. It's crazy. And like Fred, I feel like they were a bit random and a bit different, and I don't know if it was that good in the first movie in the trilogy, but in the second and third movie, predominantly the third movie, like I would say I enjoyed Fred's like just how he was in this one, and I commented on the last episode how his voice was distinctly better, I think, in that one. So yeah, it's strange. There is just like this complete spectrum.
Spectrum.
Rihanna, do you have any thoughts on Daphne, or I guess any other characters for there?
Okay, so Scooby and Shaggy, love them as always. I feel like in some ways we've kind of seen them break in so many, like especially in the 13th Ghost, they're like, we've dealt with this before, we're ready to face the demon. In this one, they're like, wait, why am I like strangely calm? Like I'm not scared. And then like they go back to being scared, and I really like that about them. It's perfect. It's their usual thing, and you know, I feel like Shaggy and Scooby 95% of the time always have the same kind of personality throughout anything. Fred, I felt like he fitted in more. I don't know why. I mean, where he was like, it wasn't a trap, it was an app. Like, he was so defensive over the fact that, no, it wasn't a trap. Like, don't insult my traps. Which made me, like, think more about Mystery Incorporated. Velma, I was like, okay, you are making up for everything that you, like, did wrong in Curse of the 13th Ghost. And I was like, I really enjoyed her. She, you know, throughout the movie, I feel like, progressed and learned life lessons. And then there's Daphne. Darling Daphne. She was like, she reminded me so much of Be Cool. But also, I feel like mixing a little bit of 13th. I mean, later on we'll see more of the things like where she's taking out pumpkins, and it's like, okay, you know, she can still kick butt. Like, she is amazing. But she was just so chaotic, and then, you know, she starts singing songs randomly. And I feel like she's possibly reached her limit. She's like, there's been so much that's happened these past 2 years or however long it's been since the trilogy and everything, like the first movie. I feel like she's kind of reached a point she wants to have fun. She doesn't want to be stuck in this, like, oh, we've got to capture this guy, we have to do this. Like, why can't we just celebrate Halloween and be happy? And I think she was also realizing the fact that she has so many phrases, because in like this modern world, and I don't mean to like call anyone out, but you know, you guys know I'm friends with Kate Melton, and she is always telling me she's learning so many phrases, like even phrases I don't know. Like, I didn't know what like Fina meant. I still don't know what it all means. But she's using like new words, because she said people are calling like people who don't know certain words, they're like saying, oh, you're old now. So I feel like she was just noting anything down that could make her come across as cool, because they did say she's a young adult. So I guess she's like, I've got to stay as young and popular as possible, like word, hip, totally, you know? So yeah. That was kind of my take on her. And she was annoying, but could have been worse.
Okay, there's some good opinions.
I think I should start noting down stuff that makes me seem young and stuff. Because just the other day, like I thought an NFT was something you could buy on Amazon, but apparently not. I'm just old. I am definitely an old person.
You're older than me, and I don't even know what an NFT is. So the fact you like learned about it, it's one step further than me. So
I can't get my head around any of this new age stuff. I've only just got around to TikTok, and even I'm atrocious at that. So maybe I'm just past it now.
Take us back to VHS and cassettes.
Yeah, take us back to
Yeah,
MySpace.
those.
Cassettes.
MySpace.
Oh, man.
Okay, so I think Shaggy and Scooby get their own little side adventure here. So they go for a little walk where they come across some toxic waste leaking from a lorry. There's a drone, and all these pumpkins kind of come to life as what looks like a result of this kind of waste going down the hill.
I love the music here. Just wanted to know.
Yes, it's like 80s sci-fi horror almost.
Mm-hmm.
Like the synths. Yes.
I guess at this point, what does everyone think to the pumpkins? Because my opinion is that initially I didn't like them. I was a bit like, oh gosh, this is awful. But I actually realized, as they were flying around, like chasing after them, I was like, okay, this isn't just a pumpkin with legs. This is actually this is not a bad villain.
No, I mean, it's weird because I think we've mentioned before that the writer for this movie was also involved with Billy and Mandy. And I don't know if they were ever a villain in Billy and Mandy, but in like an old game I used to play for the Billy and Mandy, it was like a Billy and Mandy Halloween game. The villains are literally pumpkins like this, so...
One thing that I want to say, though, is it was painfully obvious. Like, they've just had drones flying around, and now you've got flying pumpkins. Wonder how that's gonna happen. Like, it was very painful, just seeing how obvious it was. But other than that, like, they looked aesthetically kind of, like, terrifying, so it was good. Rihanna, did you enjoy the villains for this?
I did, and what I noticed, there were so many references, and I don't know if this is Warner Brothers' way. I mean, I think, was the new Aquaman movie coming out near the time? Because there's so many, like, references to Aquaman and even other DC characters. So could we potentially be seeing a Scooby crossed with Aquaman or one of the other, like, Justice League characters? I don't know, but, like, I feel like, we saw with the drones again in, like, Gourmet Ghost, so... instantly I was like, okay, I can see what's going on here. But at the same time, I felt like that was a real threat in some ways, because it was just eating people. Like, they came out of nowhere, this toxic waste. It also reminded me of that episode of Scooby Doo, What's New Scooby Doo, with the 13th cabin with the toxic waste ghost. I'm not sure if you remember that, but, like, I was thinking, was that going to just suddenly show up?
Yeah. That's a good point. Do you remember that one, JayBee?
I don't think I do. The only kind of toxic waste or toxic substance monster that I properly remember is the kind of radioactive man from, well, like the mutant from Be Cool, Scooby Doo. I think it's like the People versus Fred Jones, that episode.
Yeah.
Okay, so when they they see these like terrifying pumpkins, they run back, and at this point the gang are doing an interview because everyone's like, oh my gosh, they unmasked them, like, this is amazing, woo! So everyone wants to interview them. And I feel like Velma's enjoying her 5 minutes of fame, because when Shaggy and Scooby come in screaming, she's like, go away, you know this isn't real! And she just, like, gets so angry. But, like, she just had such a bad time and such a breakdown in the last movie that I'm like, it's okay. She's just not better yet. It's okay. She's gonna be fine.
See, that's something I was really impressed with in this movie, because Kate Micucci can very easily become annoying as Velma. And the voice that is most annoying is where she gets all loud and high pitched, but yet she physically has to shout in this movie at people, and it's like, it's actually manageable, and more than manageable, I actually think she does the angry thing quite good. So I don't know what's happened. It's annoying Velma, but when she needs to be serious, when you'd expect her to be annoying, she actually did a really, really good job. So.
I honestly have just put it back down to the fact that she's not recovered from the last movie yet, because, like, obviously Rhiannon's not seen it yet, and we're still looking forward to her verdict of it. But honestly, she goes crazy. Like, so if she needs to shout, she shouts. Like, let's just let her get out of her system whatever's going on.
Like, let it out. It's bad for your health to hold it in.
Yeah.
Let it all out.
Smash, I guess, having seen the trilogy, do you see, like, I know you've talked before about a progression of Velma's character and how, like, by the end of this movie you find her quite compelling in her story. Like, with this kind of outburst of anger, did you kind of link it back to the last movie or anything like that?
You know, her top annoying, like, traits and personality was in Curse of the 13th Ghost, I feel like. And then it seems like after that movie, it's almost like the gang talked to her and we're like, okay, hey girl, do you need help? Are you okay? And then Return to Zombie Island, she kind of was like, okay, I'll try to take a back seat, calm down, breathe and whatever. And then with here, I almost feel like she did that, you know, and as we were talking, you know, maybe it's been like a year or something since Return to Zombie Island. So maybe she's like held it all in and now it's just like bursting out, which we'll talk about kind of what it is when we get there, but you know, so, and just as like, just as the person I am, I'm like, I understand where she's coming from and these anger outbursts. I'm like, girl, I've been there, done that. I feel bad for you, you know? So I don't know. I felt for her in this movie so much.
Yeah. Her character, the last two movies, has been more compelling. Just like, you know, I understand we've been there. It's okay. So at this point, Daphne's kind of quite sweet. She kind of takes Shaggy and Scooby to one side, helps like clean them down because they literally just stuck chewed up sweets on themselves and stuff. So she kind of, yeah, she starts singing.
She'd be a good mom.
I've got this song stuck in my head still.
I've got some mental block on music because I can't remember songs.
I don't remember this one, admittedly. I get, actually, you know what? I don't remember it too much, though.
It was like she was saying about how there was something about if you don't have a cloth, use a jumper, and it was like she was just saying random words. And I think, to be honest, I think Daphne is the one who's having the complete mental breakdown. Or the fear gas that was released isn't actually fear gas; it's something else.
I mean,
but
I'd have said that from the titles. Like Shaggy and Scooby just didn't seem okay. And now Daphne doesn't. Well, Daphne already hadn't seemed okay, but yeah, like here she's like singing and just.
I want a Daphne Build-A-Bear that when you squeeze its hand, it sings this song. I think they should release that next Halloween as like a special tribute.
Like, this is gonna make it obvious that I sometimes think of you as a child, but like I imagine
Wait,
you
me?
like you running around the garden, getting mud on you, going into the bathroom and playing this song and like lining it up so that you're washing your face as she's like talking about washing the face and stuff.
Yeah, that's good for morale.
And then like just been really happy about it.
Well, I think you're right, but I just think that keeps me productive because then I know what the task is. Oh no.
Okay, so next part, we meet the Mystery Machine X. Is that what we're up to?
Yeah. This monstrosity.
Yeah. See, I realised I skipped over the bit at the start where like Fred's like talking to the Mystery Machine, like, "You're gonna be okay, aren't you? It says it's gonna be okay," and it's like, "Okay, Fred, you've been sweet." It's a bit crazy. Like at this point, Velma, definitely Daphne, and Fred's on the edge of going to insanity as well.
Well, he's always
And it's like, do you know what? You three have been through it this trilogy. Not one of you are all right. And you need to take a very long vacation afterwards because Shaggy and Scooby have got it right. Clearly running away and eating food is what makes them happy. Try it, because none of you three are all right.
Come on, gang, remember Music of the Vampire? We're only on vacation.
Yeah, go and have a long vacation.
With the whole Fred talking to Mystery Machine, didn't he call the Mystery Machine his baby? And again, I don't mean to like bring it up again because I think I'm borderline obsessed with it, just like I am Scooby Doo. With Supernatural, Dean Winchester calls his 67 Chevrolet Impala baby.
Yeah.
It's okay, baby. It's going to be okay. Like, I'm going to mend you. You're going to be fine. She says she's fine, Sammy. Don't mess with me. Like, I was like, and of course with the whole weapons thing, was it 13 ghosts returned to Zombie Island, then the whole Scooby Natural thing happened. They got the training, know how to take on paranormal ghosts and stuff. Velma's all like, oh yeah, no, there's no such thing, but they still are like paranoid, so carrying around these weapons. Fred is like, you know what, I need to start appreciating the Mystery Machine even more, so I'm going to turn into Dean Winchester and also try and win Daphne over even more, because Dean Winchester's obsessed with her, I'm obsessed with her. Like, he's basically the Scooby-Doo Dean Winchester.
That guy's a man of substance, you know.
Now, I have a question, because I don't know if I'm just being silly. You know the hologram in the Mystery Machine?
What, Bill Nye the Science Guy?
Who the hell's he?
He's Bill Nye the Science Guy.
What's that?
You don't know who Bill Nye is?
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Have they been in Scooby before?
Yeah, Scooby-Doo
Well,
too.
Yeah, I guess too.
I've not seen an episode of
I've
that.
not seen it.
So, like, are we meant to know who this person is?
Oh,
I watched
there
him
was
in
some-
school.
Oh. Well, I was just really confused and didn't have a clue what was going on.
Look, I've written down Bill Nye the Science Guy.
There was a thing he said about the lithium batteries. And they're driving an electric van. He does realize that to get the batteries for an electric car, van, whatever, they have to strip mine lithium to make the batteries. So him saying, oh, they put a stop to the lithium, mining, and yet he's gone and used a lithium battery in an electric car. That was my biggest flaw. This is like my issue with loving science and everything.
Look, this is it, Millie. Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Oh, well, I'm inspired. So Daphne wants a mentor in the next scene.
Wait, is he divorced?
So that's relevant.
Wait, married 2006 to 2006. What went wrong? Yeah.
What are you doing?
Science Guy don't play. No, he's a actually no, I don't know what. Maybe they passed away.
Oh my god.
Well, no, I don't know.
Right, I get told for saying the word divorce. You can be like, oh yeah, so his wedding and marriage ended in 2006. Sure.
No, but it started in 2006.
Okay,
So it was like Happy New Year. Then at Christmas, it was like, nah.
You do know that New Year's after Christmas, don't you?
No, because because the New Year of 2006, so January 2006, it could have been let's get married, and then in December 2006, so just before 2007.
So they've got a full year then. Okay.
Winter to winter.
So Elvira agrees to be Daphne's mentor, and this is where we see Daphne kind of look at some of those qualities that I know you were both mentioning before, where she's like calling back to the 13 ghosts, and that it's kind of capable Daphne. She fights off all these pumpkins, like everyone else is running away, and she's like, no, I got this, I can do it.
Yes, it's good though, because this is the first time that she gets a friend, and the friend isn't the villain at the end. So I like.
Oh, you've spoiled the plot for me.
Oh, have I? What's wrong?
I didn't know that yet. I'm sorry. It's been a long day.
Well, you're the one that didn't know who the
today.
science guy was. Shame yourself.
Oh, it's been a long day. Okay.
Yeah, what do you have to say? You've opened your mouth to speak and now you're asleep.
No, I didn't know what I was saying.
So let's switch up the scene a bit. So we've got Daphne and Elvira.
Miss Hasselbaum gets kidnapped.
Who the heck is Miss Hasselbaum? Oh no, it's
She's the old lady who
Oh.
Ray Griffin also voices but wasn't credited for.
Yeah, Millie.
It's you that said you didn't know.
So let's say the pumpkins start to attack, and I think this is cool because this is where Daphne kind of fights them off. You know, Elvira's like, help me with these bags in the trunk or the boot or whatever people call it around the world, and Daphne just slays these pumpkins. And I think there should be a Pumpkin Buster Daphne Funko Pop, and I'd buy it and I'd love it.
So what we learn is that when like these people are kidnapped, they start turning into pumpkins.
Yeah, they've got like the hat on
So
and
we
stuff.
start to see a Miss Hasselbaum pumpkin, and then you know Velma's like again very traumatized after the last movie, and it just seeps over to this one where she's like, "This is the dumbest monster we've ever had. It can't be real." And Daphne just keeps defeating so many pumpkins. There's this really cute scene as well where Shaggy and Scooby like hold hands and like run away.
This is my issue though, because there's some parts of this movie, like the animation of the pumpkins at the start, that is very spooky. There's like a citywide blackout, which again is quite eerie along with the music. And a part of me is like, okay, I love how spooky this is getting, but like, could we not have had this in Return to Zombie Island? Like, if they're willing to do it in Modern Scooby, I just wish that it was more in, like, I know it's not about Return to Zombie
I
Island.
think Return to Zombie Island needs to be left where it is. Like, I wouldn't have changed a thing. It was the only way it could have been done
It wasn't
in a
they could have done it
manageable way.
like this. If they did it like this, if they did it like this, where it was a bit spookier.
Nobody wants that. Nobody wanted it to be tied to the original. The original was fine.
Did you say no one wanted it to be tied to the original?
Yeah, everyone liked the original. They wanted it to be left alone. It was Warner Brothers who were like greedy, like, oh, if we use Zombie Island, we'll
get
get
what you're
paid
saying,
more,
I get
we'll
what you're
get more
saying.
views. No one wanted them to touch it, and they did it in
They
the
did
only
touch
way.
it. They did
No,
touch
they didn't.
it. No,
did it
no,
in
they
the
touched
only
it. They
way
touched
where
it.
it wasn't going to be interfered with.
I'll interfere with you. That's what I'll do. You're gonna be prepared to be interfered with.
Oh my god.
Right. Can someone move us on? Because I think
Okay, so the road splits, and at this point I was kind of challenging the writer, like, you're not going to be able to explain this. Because the entire town of Crystal Cove, like, collapses. So it's like... oh,
collapses.
no, it, like, goes in. It, like, introverts and, like, it all just falls away.
Oh, they were all quite shy, were they? No, I'm sorry.
What's happening to us this episode?
It's you. It's not me.
Oh, gosh. So, yeah, I was like, oh, I don't know how they're going to explain this. So, did anyone have any thoughts on this part? Up to this part, so like
There's nothing new that's happened.
yeah, there is. I've like skipped over like a huge part of the plot. Like, what did I skip over?
Okay, what did everyone think about the inclusion of Bill Nye the Science Guy?
I was like other than plugging Aquaman and any other DC movie that may or may not have been coming out around that time or in the future. I didn't really see the point of him. I mean, I kind of touched on the whole lithium battery thing, which bugged me because science-wise, he just contradicted himself completely. Also, I just really hated this Mystery Machine X thing. Like, if you're going to give them a new car, like, were they paid to promote electric cars or something as well? Because,
Possibly.
like, the fact that all they did was prove the fact that, and I'm sorry for skipping a little bit, all they did was prove over the fact that, hey, electric cars die very quickly, and if you're being chased by pumpkins, you are probably going to die because
Yeah.
the car's just going to give up. So, like, between the whole using lithium for a battery for an electric car whilst also stopping using lithium, which makes no sense, and the fact that, you know, he almost killed them, I just didn't see the point of it, to be honest. Like, he should have delivered a new Mystery Machine with turbojets, or like bring in the whole Speed Demon WWE crossover. They needed a Mystery Machine like that, with like being able to fly and do all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's what they needed, not an electric van that just died after 2 seconds of driving.
I honestly feel sorry for Fred because he is trapped in there with Velma for so long where she's going, oh, isn't this better than the Mystery Machine? Isn't this better than the Mystery Machine? I feel like he's able to just cry at this point. Like,
Yeah, like, read
if
the
he
room,
wants to
Velma.
cry, it's okay because she put him through it. Like, it's understandable because she's still not all right after the last movie. Like, she's not okay.
Yeah. Come
But
on, man.
like, she's just upsetting everyone around her as well.
She's a danger and a hindrance to herself and those around her. She you're right. Maybe she needs to go somewhere.
Okay, there's one part of the movie that I really enjoyed, and that was when they were talking about the name of Crystal Cove and where it originated from. They said that it was about the gems that were found in the sea caves, and that ties in so heavily to the second Daphne and Velma book. I don't know exactly what the timelines were like with when those books were published, but I just saw a link between the two and I was like, I love that.
Did they ever go to the sea caves in Mystery Incorporated? Because I forget.
I think they did.
Yes.
They mentioned the crystals. Like, they go into a cave. But I'm not sure if it was a sea. I assume that. I need to rewatch that series, actually. Maybe that's what we'll do, Millie, to calm you down after this.
Yeah. Look, you know I've had a bad day. Stop it. So pumpkins get cars and they start chasing after everybody, which is a bit
Ooh,
strange.
there's I don't know if you picked up on this during the whole like chase car scene. Did you notice that the Mystery Machine X at some point was seen like being driven by the jack-o'-lanterns?
No.
It happened. It was like briefly. I think it was when it zoomed out and it showed like the jack-o'-lanterns like with all the cars and stuff, and the Mystery Machine X was there being driven by. And there was also like Red Herring's van or something.
Oh yeah.
It was in there. But that I was like, when did the jack-o'-lanterns get the what? But that was just something I noticed in that whole scene.
I need to start paying attention more to the backgrounds and to even the visuals, because I literally just noticed animation and story, maybe some references.
I guess something that it's fair to say you did notice, which also happens kind of around this time, is when Daphne has to detach the float from Elvira's car.
Oh, that was amazing. That's peak Daphne action right there. That's literally... that was amazing. And it was animated awesomely as well. So I like her. I like that a lot.
So then they go through that the kind of under the bridge, but then the kind of cars manage to make it through. Something that's kind of sad at this point again for Fred is like he's sat there with Velma. She's like, oh, this is so much better than the Mystery Machine. And then the big pumpkin is like rides in, just squashing the mystery machine.
Yeah, but it was so cool
Yeah.
because it like leaves it where like one wheel's just like left spinning next to Fred, and it's like, no,
I feel so sorry for Fred in this movie.
like poor guy.
I want to give Fred a hug. Like,
yeah,
he is allowed to scream. And the thing is, all while he was basically pining and mourning over, the mystery machine, when Daphne was doing the thingy thing with the thingy attachment thingy thing, he was like, Daphne, be careful. Like, do you want me to come and do it? Because I don't want you to get hurt. He still cared about her. It was so cute.
I do like the characters in this movie. And the last movie, weirdly. There's just something happening right now that's very good with characters.
well, I think this is more coming up because I think eventually, do they not, at this point, and maybe a bit later on, they decide that they have to speak to the Scarecrow again?
Yeah, so this is something that I like
Yes.
that Velma's character does
Yeah.
as well. Because it's almost like she can almost admit that she made a mistake here, like she missed something. I just said I like Velma's character, there we go. Okay, so she like flies out of the Mystery Machine X and like goes to see the first Scarecrow. Like, okay, you said this, what did you mean? Like, I don't get it, what did you mean? And at this point, I almost thought that she was gonna have been tricked by him. Like, because she was ready to let him out, and I was like, okay, so I feel like he's almost orchestrated this himself just so, like, she gets that out. Because he keeps trying to get her to embrace fear. Like, he keeps trying to scare her. I feel like he was gonna, like, trick her in some way.
But not kidding, like, I think that the Scarecrow brings out the best in Velma's character.
Yeah,
because
I do.
Velma mentioned that she had a mind palace at some point in the movie, but like the conversation that she had with Scarecrow reminded me so much of like Sherlock and Moriarty.
I was gonna say, you know, when Sherlock has to go and visit his sister behind the glass and she's playing tricks on him, like mind games, and obviously, like you said, mind palace. Yeah, there was parallels.
I want more. Like I would have a Velma standalone movie if it was just her doing some type of psychological game with the Scarecrow. That would compel me, and I would love that.
Mm-hmm. So I ultimately though, when Velma lets him out, he's quite helpful. Like he kind of detracts some of the pumpkins a bit, I think. And everyone ends up in the same car as Daphne. And everyone runs out of fuel and they have to start walking, I think. And there's this really interesting scene where Velma becomes like nearly best ever Velma in this, where she's like, do you know what, Shaggy and Scooby? Sometimes I do wish you could join me in my mind palace. And then they make her eat the Scooby snack. And they get this scene where they go inside her brain and she's like, do you know what, Shaggy? You were here as well. What did you see? Kind of like for the first time, she's like, I actually can't do this on my own. And I want help from you.
Scooby snacks are drugs, confirmed.
I just realized we don't really see Scooby snacks in many of the Scooby movies, at least not recently. They're not like, oh hey, will you do it for a Scooby snack? I feel like this is the first movie they've really emphasized that Scooby snacks are even a thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And I like how they've made Velma eat one as well, as opposed to it just being like, hey, Shaggy and Scooby, do it for this. They're like, do you know what, Velma?
know,
There's
that's
benefits to this. Just try it.
There's health benefits.
It's just peer pressure.
So Fred's setting his trap up as well, and then as they're in the Mind Palace, he's like, oh, they're here. And then he says, Mystery Incorporated, incorporate. What's that?
That's like an Avengers reference.
Is it like
surely,
Avengers
like,
Assemble,
yeah.
Assemble? Like, I don't get it.
Avengers Assemble. I like that though. I think this version of Fred is so fun. And you know what? I'm gonna make it fair. I would accept gratefully if they made a topless Rambo Fred Funko Pop. I'd like that.
Okay.
So yeah, Fred Funko Pop.
I'd
Let's
like
make
it
happen.
and like have like the pumpkin guts, you know, on his chest and stuff.
Oh yes.
Can we get this, please?
Mm.
I want to get concept art.
And at this point,
And he has like the wooden stakes in his hands.
That is a good part. It was a good part. I actually like the conclusion of this movie, and as well, Velma like steps forward like, oh, okay, I was wrong about this, I was wrong about this. I was like, yep, keep going, you're wrong about everything, just keep going. And then she like jumps into the mouth of the pumpkin, and it's kind of like, I feel like you could have done this from the start. You're insistent that it's always an unmasking, so save your energy and unmask it.
Yeah, just the second it comes in, she just bursts into its mouth. What are you laughing?
Well, if she knows, then she knows. But yeah, so she ultimately unmasks the pumpkin. Something that kind of I found a bit strange about this one is, you know, the first person that was kidnapped, like Miss something,
Giggle bum.
Giggle Bum or something.
Shuckle Bottom or something.
Everyone else was tied up, but she wasn't, and I was like, okay, I suspected you. I see that. And then it wasn't her, and I was like, well, why then? Because that doesn't make sense. Like, why was everyone else tied up and she wasn't? I don't know why, but like that bugged me.
Maybe because she's a little old
Because
lady.
she's an old lady.
Like, look, I've seen my gran like hit
Your
the side
elbows.
of a bus with a walking stick. Old women shouldn't be underestimated. Like, I'm sure if she needed to put up a fight, she would have done.
I mean, in her defense, she's too cool to be tied up because she's voiced by Griffin. And I'm going to keep saying that because she didn't get credit for it, and I feel like she should have, because she did an amazing job on that voice.
She did. So I'm glad she's getting the credit now. And then we see a hologram of who it was. And it turns out that it's the sheriff that we've seen in the last two movies. And I don't know if I want to like tell Rihanna to block her ears here because I have a question, but it ties into the last movie. So
I'll block my ears, I
Oh.
think. No, actually, I'm going to listen.
I'll try and skim over it as best I can. So the sheriff's like, oh yeah, for the last few things, it's like, the last few years, it's been me. Like, and I was like, okay, but to what extent was it you? Like, what did you understand from that, smASH?
Hello?
Hi,
We lost him again.
can you
Oh,
hear
you're back?
us?
I can
Yeah.
now.
Okay, so I don't know what you heard up to, but I was just asking you, smASH, what you understood when he was like, oh yeah, the last like few years it's been me.
So, to me here, it seemed like, which it kind of annoys me because I'm like, there's, well, the pivotal mystery that he's so upset about, we didn't get to see, we didn't get, and even in this movie, we hardly get any information. He was just like, you unmasked me as this, and I wanted revenge, and so it's like, okay, how far back was that initial mystery? Because clearly you're saying Curse of the 13th Ghost and Return to Zombie Island, let's just say, is at least like a 2-year thing. It's like, you know, those were like their big mysteries for each year, you know, like 2018 was this, 2019 was this one, you know, and so I'm gonna guess maybe the mystery that he's referring to is the one, you know, just like the year before Curse of the 13th Ghost, but I'll just say it just bugs me that like there's this pivotal mystery that he's so upset about, and we're now learning about it like 2 seconds, that's exaggerating, but 2 seconds before this movie's over.
My own headcanon, and I think Millie will be angry at me for saying this, but I think if it was an unmasking that the gang was so distracted by afterwards, or at least a bit before that, that they didn't follow it up and they kind of forgot the face of the person. Now, for all I don't think Return to Zombie Island should be so tied to the original, because obviously they retconned it, I think the retcon version of the initial Zombie Island, he was probably one of the people unmasked in that movie's equivalent of The Ghost Is Here. Because after that, they were busy, right? So plenty of time for
That
him
would
to
be a
plot
cool
his stuff
idea.
and them to kind of move on.
What I'm saying is, and this is the bit of a spoiler thing where I was like, maybe Rihanna needs to like block her ears for a couple of seconds, is if it was him all along, can we just say he was the cat and then we've got our like rounded ending and everything's fine?
Like, who's been messing up everything?
Because
Hey, that was always my thought too.
Because if he's like, oh yeah, it was me, all of it, it was like, okay then. So it was you that caused all the danger to them that happened because you wanted to get back at them. That's why they've, and again, Rihanna, I'm very sorry if this like, I'm not going to add it into any context so it doesn't like mean anything. But like, is that why there was the fire that we never touch on again? Because it was explained in this one that it was him. And like, that's why there was no repercussions of it. Nobody cared about it. It was just like small signs that they were trying to harm them, or like when they try and drop a tree on them and stuff. Is it just signs that he was trying to hurt them?
Well, and let's also remember the fact that at the end of Return to Zombie Island, he just shows up and is like, yeah, I found you. I heard stuff was happening. And it's like, I mean, I get it. He's supposedly part of the police department or whatever. So, you know, he has means of getting there. But it's like, you know, the boat never returned to the mainland. It was burned down. You know,
what's their jurisdiction? Because that wasn't Crystal Cove.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, is it Louisiana though? And is there anything in America where it's like American jurisdiction, or is it like Texas police can't mess with not Texas?
Have you ever seen, and I'm so sorry because this is a really, like, it's not an appropriate movie, so please don't go and watch it. I think at the age written on it's a 15, so like audience beware and stuff.
What are you gonna
Do you remember
say?
when I showed you that movie Vacation?
Oh,
And there's where the four corners
like,
meet, and then
Canada, Mexico,
and then everyone manages to escape from what they were doing because the police start like holding guns up at each other. Yeah, things like that.
I like that actually.
Sorry.
Wait, where is Louisiana's American, right? No, well, I don't know, do I?
I've been to America. It's more than what I can say, and I know that.
It's Louisiana, Texas now.
No.
Isn't it close to like New Orleans or New Orleans, however you want to say it?
Yeah.
Oh, so they get Mardi Gras?
Yeah.
Kate's been there a few times, and she's always telling me how Louisiana and New Orleans is like one of the most haunted places.
Wait, can
That
we go
makes
there?
JayBee want to go because he always wants to explore haunted places.
Can we go there for a video? We could have like a night in a haunted house. We could
Yeah, let's go vlog.
The Scooby Gang. We
Creepy
could
place.
literally.
Let's do like a
Yes.
ghost hunting vlog series.
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay, but just so you know, I'm bringing the salt and the rock salt and like
Perfect.
iron and silver, so I will protect you all.
I'll bring it
I'm
back
just
in
gonna,
for you.
I'm just gonna hide in the car with Rihanna while you two go in the buildings and stuff.
No, I'll bring a
Oh
vacuum
my
cleaner
We'll
because it's
get
at
a
Luigi's
mystery machine
mansion.
van.
Oh yeah.
Okay, hear me out. JayBee and SMASH ride in the mystery machine. Millie and I, we get a 67 Chevrolet Impala, and then we race them to see who can be the fastest. Like, I feel like that would be interesting.
But Millie would lose because he drives like a grandma.
You've not passed your test, so you wouldn't get out of the gate, like, or off the drive or wherever we are. Like, no.
I would. I got Mario Kart skills. I can do it. Trust me. Believe in me.
How many pedals are in a car, JayBee?
It depends on It depends on the type of car.
Okay.
For an automatic car, there's the goer and the stopper, and in
The
an
goer and
automatic,
the
in
stopper.
the manual, there's the go and the stop, and the one that you have to do to do the thing, the biting point. No.
Clutch.
Yeah, the clutch.
We've got it, Rihanna, it's fine.
And there's the reverse button on the thing.
You're just lucky SMASH drives.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
I've been told I'm a good driver too.
So, you've lost me.
If it's any help, JayBee, like I can't drive either. I
Oh,
can win at Mario Kart. Like I can throw those banana peels and those turtle shells. Like I'm good at that, but an actual car would be dangerous, I think.
maybe we should all just play Mario Kart for the last episode ever. Maybe that would be it.
Or like commission a Scooby Doo Mario Kart where you can drive like the Mystery Machine or the cars from the WWE crossover.
So
and
you
you
want us to
can
commission an
be
entire
like
game?
characters and stuff. Yeah, it'd be great.
I want to be Daphne.
There's a surprise. So basically, I think what we were talking about is I feel like Zombie Island, Return to Zombie Island, actually has a very rounded ending. Now I'm happy.
What? That's your conclusion after say. Wait, oh, well, hang on a minute then. So with this sheriff being revealed,
Yeah.
okay, and obviously, like, this isn't even skipping ahead. We're pretty much there.
Yeah, we are.
But we see Scarecrow's silhouette. So do
Yeah.
you think the sheriff will return in a future movie, or well, I guess it won't be a TV show, but a future movie?
No, I think the trilogy's here. Like, ultimately, I think this ends with the Scarecrow person redeeming themselves, because really don't they, like... Because Velma keeps him busy on hologram while he's driving away, and then, like, everyone catches him, and didn't, like, the Scarecrow guy kind of catch him or something?
I think what would be cool is another DC crossover, and hear me out. Reintroduce the Scarecrow. Potentially, he's keeping the sheriff hostage, or they've teamed up together. And that would be interesting.
See,
and like we see a different superhero instead of like Batman or Wonder Woman.
I'd say this almost takes a dark turn to it, because isn't the plot that like he kind of lured the Scarecrow back for something?
Yeah.
So maybe like almost to be caught. So maybe the Scarecrow's got some personal vendetta. So I'm kind of seeing this as like some violent sideline. Like, this isn't Scooby. This man's been
Next
like
time,
held hostage and like hit and stuff. Like, it's not
Oh
good.
yeah, instead of I would have gotten away with it, the guy just gets like water
Wait,
poured in.
do we don't get I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you meddling kids in this movie, do we?
No, I don't
because
think so.
Velma says it. Velma says, "Oh, and he would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for us." And it's like that kind of made me sad.
Yeah, the movie's not over.
Nerds. Like, oh, is that the whole thing? They're keeping us on tenterhooks because the next one, like, there's going to be a fourth one that they didn't want us to like see coming, but because we're smart, we do, because like we know it's not over, and it's the return of the Scarecrow and the sheriff dude, millionaire, billionaire guy, whatever he is, and then like we just see Crystal Cove and Coolsville all just explode because our brains can't take it anymore.
Very possible. So I feel like that kind of concludes on this movie, unless anybody has anything else to add before the verdict.
Just that Fred gets the mystery machine back in the credits. And that's it.
Yeah, they
Oh, that's
like
right.
Frankenstein it, don't they?
To life.
Yeah.
And we can guarantee that they won't be caught by any monsters because it's not an electric car, so
Hey,
they're not going to die.
I wonder if it's an automatic or a manual. I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
How many
We'll have
pedals
to
would it have,
ask
JayBee?
Mine.
We don't know.
The goer, the stopper.
No, it's like stop and go, isn't it?
Okay, so that means that we have finished the movie. We're over to verdict. So I feel like I actually don't know where people are going to go with this one. I feel like this is the first time I'm actually like, ooh, I wonder.
Dun,
So,
dun, dun.
JayBee, happy Halloween, Scooby Doo, smash or pass?
Well, I enjoyed this a lot. I think ultimately it was so fun, from the gorgeous animation, the amazing soundtrack, and Daphne looks amazing as Elvira, and I'm gonna take that to my grave. And Velma, this is like one of the best Velmas we've got, and their relationship and dynamic with the Scarecrow is literally like Sherlock and Moriarty. I am there for it. So I'm gonna say a rock hard smash. Millie, what's your verdict?
Okay, so I feel like summarizing the things I don't like about the movie, because I do tend to focus on the negatives. I think Daphne, this is the worst Daphne we've seen. I also don't like how the mystery is summarized, because like I drive, like there's no way that driving and staying in line with this police vehicle and stuff they could have controlled that many drones. At the same time, so many pumpkins were smashed apart that they'd have seen a drone. Like, I've got issues with the plot, I do. But ultimately, I feel like it was very formula Scooby, things that I've enjoyed. I would enjoy watching it again, so it would be a smash, and I do feel like Mr. Ink needs a holiday. So
Yeah.
I know there's just like they've just gone through it and they don't seem okay. Like holiday. Rihanna, next, would you say smash or pass for Happy Halloween Scooby Doo?
First of all, I just want to say when we started the Smash or Pass, and then you said to JayBee, like, Happy Halloween, Scooby Doo, I was like, that you just said that so ominously.
Happy Halloween Scooby Doo.
Okay, so there are some inconsistencies throughout the movie. Some that I picked up on, you know, during the battle, the jack-o'-lanterns. No, Elvira loses one of her black high heels, and she then, you know, I think it's the left one. Daphne then somehow manages to have it on her foot, and then, like, next thing you know, it's her right shoe that's missing, like that whole thing. Also, you know, Daphne, when Shaggy said you got to have candy to earn candy, she wrote it on her phone, but she used a pencil, which didn't make sense. One thing I noticed, and I want to know if you guys did too, the sheriff's appearance and attire is like completely different in this movie to the other two, and he also seems like less muscular. So, however long like went on between, he needed to work out more to maintain that consistency. And also, just how did Daphne and Elvira like switch clothes?
Yeah.
You know, that all being said, and I had to get that off my chest because it was bugging me. You know, I enjoyed the movie. I love the music. I love Daphne's little song. I can still like groove out to all of the music now. The animation was amazing. You know, yes, Daphne had her moments. I think all of the characters had moments where it was like, okay, you can all calm down now. I enjoyed like the whole situation where like with the not sheriff, the like dad and daughter, that whole scenario really warmed my heart. The little party at the end that they went to where they ate all the food. You know, and Scooby's face as he was tipping the cheese into his mouth. That picture is worth everything. So I would watch it again. I want to watch it again tonight, but I'm tired, so I won't. But, you know, I would 100% smash it because it's just one of those movies where it was a nice summary and it made sense from where started off on the 13th Ghost. Whatever happens in Return to Zombie Island, I promise you guys I will watch it before we speak again. And, you know, Velma matured. Fred matured. He came to realize that he can actually, you know, do stuff without having a meltdown over not having control and being in charge. It like all of them grew from the first movie in the trilogy, so it's a smash from me.
Great, that's amazing. And so finally, smash. Would you say smash or pass for Happy Halloween Scooby Doo?
All right. This one's. I already know what I'm gonna say, but I'm still gonna say this one's a little tough for me because I find this one so much fun. Okay, there's such great music, such great moments and everything, but I I struggle with car movies. What's funny though is one of my favorite movies called College Road Trip, you know, and they're like on the road for a good portion of the movie, but like just like driving movies, I get bored so easily. I think if it was racing, I'd be a little tuned out, but I felt like this movie they were just on the road a little too long, but I really enjoyed the interactions with the characters. Like, I really liked Velma's interaction with Scarecrow and everything, Jonathan Crane. However, I feel like there was like one too many guests in this movie. Like, I don't think we needed Bill Nye, but that's okay. It's whatever. You know, I think it's just like nitpicky things, really, because I really enjoyed the pumpkins. I love the fact of like this giant pumpkin ate people, and then they turned into jack-o'-lanterns and everything. So I don't know. I love the idea for, and like I've said before, I think the ending scene, or like the end battle, so to speak, of this movie is like what Return to Zombie Island wanted to be, but wasn't. And you know, I don't know. There's just some moments in this movie where you're like, yeah, okay, but there's so many fun references, interactions, and honestly, I kind of liked seeing them in more of a hometown setting as well. Again, even though they were on the road for a good chunk of the movie, it's like they were still in like Crystal Cove territory, and I just thought that was kind of a nice refresh of, like, you know, not having them somewhere far out on, you know, an excursion of the world, whatever, even though they need it now. But I feel like this ending, though, to this supposed trilogy was a bit underwhelming, and I'm really hopeful that there's a fourth movie eventually where they come back for revenge or something. I don't know. I just feel like both Scarecrow and the officer dude got off too easy. But unless Scarecrow's doing stuff to the officer that we don't need to know about. But anyway, all that said, I'm still going to smash this movie because, again, it's just fun. I love the music. So many fun interactions and character moments. But I mean, with any movie, there's just little nitpicky moments where you're like, I could have done without that. But, you know, it doesn't ruin the whole movie.
Okay, great. So that is a unanimous smash for this movie.
I love that.
See, the more like everyone's been talking about it in the conclusions, I feel like this was like Scooby Doo's answer to Fast and Furious, where there's just this long car chase. And you'd normally have the police as the cars that's like the pumpkins, and then the main like people as the cars at the front, like the Shaggy, the Scooby, the Velma, kind of like racing ahead. And so for me, I feel like that was just the entire vibe of the movie now, and I kind of can't unsee it.
Maybe it could be.
But ultimately, I did really enjoy this movie, and it's all that we all did, because like we say, it's a unanimous smash. So JayBee, I believe this is your community news section.
So I guess I kind of did this before the recording just to purposely try and promote it a bit more. But we've announced the David Newman stuff now, so that's going to be interesting.
I also guess in community news, I don't know if we touched on this in the last recording, don't think we did, but the stage performance is now kind of happening, touring. They've had their first show, and we did a brief smash or pass with somebody who's seen that show as well, so that's on the channel.
Yeah, and that's all good. I think that's kind of everything. I think I might have had more, but I think ultimately that's it, unless anyone else has any news.
None for me.
Nope.
Okay, so that is it for community news. Now, next week, and I can assure you I'm very happy to be saying this, is Scooby Doo, the Sword and the Scoob. So this is back to known territory for JayBee and I. This is one that we've seen a few times, and we first saw this for reviewing it on Smash's channel. Yeah,
so again, another kind of full circle movie for us there. We're definitely getting to that stage where we've been doing this for a while, but like, I don't know, I just think it's
We're nearly at the end of the movies.
Oh gosh.
And then we've got series.
We are.
Well, it looks like we're nearly at the end. What we're forgetting is we then need to go back for the animated ones that we missed and then do live actions. But yeah, it's amazing to see how far this has come. And like we said, like, Sword and the Scoob is back when we were actually like with Scooby, like one of I want to say that's the first time we did a video on Smash's channel.
I want to say so, yeah. I think so.
So
Or
yeah,
in the Scoob?
full circle. Yeah, Sword in the Scoob.
Yes.
So yeah, we're looking forward to that. So subscribe to the channel for that. That'll be out next Saturday. I feel like that's everything.
Yeah, I
So
think
Smash's
that's
links to
kind
his
of it.
channel as well, as we mentioned, will be in the description down below. And so yeah, for more like Smash or Pass, the interviews related to it and other things as well, please like, comment and subscribe to JayBee and Millie.
Ooh.